concept is simply a standard circular spin. Either it's going clockwise or counterclockwise, and we want to be able to move with it. Okay? Those are actually two different spinning movements that you can use, and if you practice with both your hands, you should be able to spin the chuck. Anytime you're in a front grip, you should be able to turn anytime. And all you have to do is learn two moves and be able to do it with your right and with your left. Here's how it looks. The first move is like this. Let's say I grab it with my right hand and I am spinning it counterclockwise, like so. Both of these moves you may want to use a wall, because the wall will help you with your planes. You want to have very straight planes when you do this. So let's say I'm standing towards a wall. You may want to do this. Remember, we were talking about this earlier, how you're practicing how to spin the chuck, because as you're standing down here, there's actually quite it's very subtle, but it's definitely an adjustment for how you have to spin up here as opposed to here, as opposed to here. So your first move is going to look like this. We're going to take the chuck in our right hand and we're going to spin it this direction. Okay, it's going to go counterclockwise. Next, we're going to turn 180 degrees. And then we're going to do a pass. Now there's two ways to do this pass. Let me show you the recommended pass, the way that I prefer. It's a same stick grab, like this. Essentially, both my thumbs are pointing down. This hand is going to grab, the hand that's grabbing is slightly above the other one, so when I let go, this hand will continue the spin, like that. Let me show you again. Here, turn, keep the same direction. You're just turning your body, but you're not stopping this. And as this hits here, which will be 9 o'clock when I'm looking at it from my direction, 9 o'clock, it's swinging down and the other hand grabs it. The reason why I prefer the same stick grab is because it adds an extra rotation. As you notice, see that? The momentum itself causes it to rotate on its own. Now, this may be a little bit harder than this one, which is the opposite stick. See how I'm grabbing the opposite stick? That's why it's called an opposite stick pass. The opposite stick, but then it stops. So it doesn't quite have as many rotations, so I always like more rotations, of course. I just think this tends to have more of an effect. But you can totally do the same move by doing the opposite stick grab. So we're spinning it counterclockwise with our hand, we're turning, we're going to pass, we're going to turn, and finally we're going to return it back to our original hand. Now, the hardest part to this move, obviously, is going to be this pass. So let me show you a way that you can practice this, no matter what pass it is, whether it's the opposite stick grab or the same stick grab. This is a good way to work your planes. First, of course, you can use the wall here. You want to make sure that this doesn't touch the wall. The nice thing about a wall is you can start off farther away from the wall, and as you get better and better, get closer and closer to the wall, so you have to keep it much tighter without hitting it. If you want to just practice, well, how can I just get really good at spinning in the back plane? I'm going to show you this exercise. It works really well. So we're standing with our right hand, spinning counterclockwise. We're going to turn 180 degrees. We're going to do the pass, but instead of turning around, we're going to lift it up and we're going to lift our shoulder. Now, if you look at it, my elbow is actually perpendicular to the way I'm facing, okay? Now, I'm turning my head a little bit just to make it a little bit easier. Otherwise, it's a really awkward stretch. So here's what it looks like. My elbow's pointing, it's kind of pointing right at the camera. So if there was a wall here, and I'm doing my spin, the tip of my elbow could touch the wall right here. This is a bounce point, basically, here. And I'm creating a bend so the nunchuck actually stops its momentum and it goes the opposite direction. Once I do that, I can practice the pass with my left hand, and then once again, point my elbow out and I let it bounce this direction. We rotate the direction, spin it, bounce, 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 bounce. This is really good for working the planes behind your back, because if you miss it, you won't be able, it won't hit you, you won't be able to bounce it, of course, if you're too far. Or if it's off a little bit, it's not going to bounce off the back of your tricep. Do this very slowly, very slowly. Don't do this fast at all. Just pass. See if you can get it to rest right by your shoulder. Pass. Nice and relaxed. We do an opposite stick grab and pass it. or same stick and pass. Now you also know if you do an opposite side, you're stuck. Like your hands actually freeze the nunchuck. So you can do spins. There are advantages to it for sure. And if you do the same stick grab, well, it stays in motion or it'll just kind of flop around. So if you are looking to stop the motion, you're going to want to do an opposite stick pass. If you're wanting to keep the momentum going fast, you do a same stick pass. There's actually an advantage and a disadvantage to both. You can even see just the way that it looks. It has a different vibe to it, okay? So once you get really good at that, you should be easily able to go from here, and you're doing the pass, and then we're just turning around with it. But as you can see, it's that same style of pass that we've been working on here, except we're just not bouncing it. And of course, if you know that pass, you can fake them out and return back to where you stood. So if you do this pass, you can do the fake, which will reverse the direction of the rotation and allow you to do the next move that we're going to work on. Excuse me. Again, let's try this one more time though first before we go into the second move. Spinning it counterclockwise. 1, turn 180 degrees. 2, do the pass. 3, turn 180 degrees. 4, put it in your hand again, and your right hand again. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can move with it. I don't have to stand still. I recommend you move with it.